I had no idea what I was doing when I started building my brand. And that's exactly why it worked. Yesterday, I told you about my 2:47 a.m. identity crisis, how I discovered who I was underneath all my achievements. But knowing who you are is only half the battle. The other half, building a brand that actually reflects that authentic self. And here's where most experts get stuck. They think they need to have it all figured out before they start. That was me. But I'm about to show you why what I did and what you're doing is completely wrong. For 22 years, I was so blessed and grateful to produce some hit television shows. Duck Dynasty, Intervention, 60 Days In, Zombie House Flipping, 50-50 Flip, shows watched by millions. But here's what nobody tells you about corporate world. At least if you're not in it, maybe if you're in it, you do know. Kind of weren't allowed to have a personal brand. Ever. Your brand was the company. Your identity was your Outlook calendar. You didn't have your own voice. I got a message one time from HR saying, "Hey, Brad, maybe don't share that you're on vacation. We wouldn't want people thinking you're not working." Yeah, I got that. And maybe you did too. Or maybe you're scared that you would. And guess what? That wasn't funny. It was suffocating. So when I left the day-to-day of the corporate world about a year ago, I had no idea how to build a personal brand. I'd spent 2 decades amplifying other people's stories, but I had never once told my own, at least not like this. So I didn't study when I started other people's experts' websites, probably should have. I didn't copy their language, definitely shouldn't have. And I didn't try to sound like them. I just didn't know what I was doing. And I had to figure it out all from scratch, except I sort of didn't. Because then I did the work. I learned. I studied. I talked to people. And I just tried doing everything. And if you saw my early videos, they were brutal. They were really brutal. But I kept going. Not because I had it figured out, certainly did not, but because I didn't. And every time I tried something, I learned something new. I was showing up. Awkward, unpolished, totally unsure, but still showing up. I was posting from my home office with this simple camera and this mic, almost no editing, and I just had to push post. And I kept thinking, I've produced millions, billions of dollars of content. Are you going to judge my own production? But here's what I learned. Consistency doesn't always make you great, but it makes you real. I showed up, and that was my pivot. Not some big moment with lights and music. Just me, showing up, imperfect, and still showing up, even after that. Then one day, I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich. Nothing dramatic. Turkey, honey mustard, and probably a bit too much cheese, and my daughter walks in. She's in that prime don't embarrass me age, and she goes, "Hey, Dad, saw your YouTube videos." My whole life flashed before my eyes. I wasn't thinking, wow, she's proud of me. I was thinking, dear God, I've just destroyed her entire social status. She's gonna have to transfer schools, change her name, start over, travel to Nebraska, be an exchange student, all of the things. And then she looks at me in the eye and says, "I love your videos." Learning a lot. Keep going. That broke me. That broke me in the best way. She gave me what I couldn't give myself: permission. And that's when it hit me. I had spent 22 years helping other people become unforgettable, but I forgot. that I could be unforgettable too. I kept waiting to be ready before I showed up, but readiness never came, only regret. And then I remembered something my grandmother taught me. She gave me, and we talked about the $2 bills a lot. There's a Jewish tradition called shaliach mitzvah. You get funds for a traveler to do good. So every time I traveled, I took a $2 bill to give to someone in need. And it reminded me of her generosity. And a $2 bill is memorable. And most people see a $2 bill and they think it's fake, right? You kind of look at it and you're like, oh, is this real? But it is real. It's just rare. And that's exactly what happens to experts. People think you're too good to be true because you're rare in your industry. I realized I was always meant to be the $2 bill, not the dollar, not common, expected, forgettable. Nope. But the $2 bill, rare and valuable and unforgettable. So I decided to test this idea. I gave a speech in Orlando at the AI for Business Live conference, and I really leaned into the $2 bill concept. There were 600 people in the audience, on stage, and a message I'd waited my entire lifetime to say out loud. If you can't say what makes you different, neither can AI. Now, clearly not my entire lifetime, but the fact that I wanted everybody to know that they are different. They just may not know the words to say. And after I said that, obviously very appropriate at this time, they stood up. They shouted back to me. They felt it. After that speech, people came up and said, I've never heard anyone explain personal branding like that. And that's when I really, really knew that I had something, not because it was perfect, but because it was real. It was authentically me. It had something to do with my grandmother, my mother, my TV background, my struggle with identity. And from all of these experiences, I've learned to create frameworks. And after this experience, I created a framework called the REAL framework. R, recognize what makes you different. E, embrace your unique background. A, amplify your authentic voice. And L, lead with your truth, not your titles. This isn't about copying anyone else. It's about looking back at your past. What do people come to you for? What questions do they ask you? Your audience will tell you what makes you different. Your ideal customers will show you your unique value. But you got to do the thing. You got to show up. You have to keep trying. You have to keep creating. You have to put yourself out there. Building your authentic brand is not about being perfect. It's about being in motion every day. You got to lead into that discomfort. You've got to choose to be visible when hiding would be easier. Your authentic brand is your competitive advantage because anyone can copy your strategy. Anyone can copy your content, but no one can copy your story. No one can copy your background. No one can copy your authentic self. Let me ask you this. What's the one thing about your background that makes you different in your industry, amongst your peers, in your family? That may be exactly what makes you the $2 bill. And if you're ready to discover what makes you uniquely valuable, I created an amazing tool called the Vibe Finder GPT. It's going to help you find your voice, identity, brand, and energy vibe. It's free, takes 5 minutes, and it might just change everything. Link in the comments below. You'll see it, take it, do it, and reach out to me and tell me how it was. And maybe even just share what the result was. So tomorrow, I'm sharing the energy that makes people lean in instead of scroll past. Because once you know what makes you different, You need to know how to make people feel it. See you then. And remember, be unforgettable. Be the $2 bill.